Hello students, welcome back. Hope you all have already seen the previous video, the introduction that I gave you for this chapter, Organisms and Population, chapter 10. So from this video, we are going to learn what is a habitat and how organisms have adapted to live in different habitat. So we can see we'll be seeing two different type of habitats. It's an introduction about habitat. After this video, I'll be posting another video that will detail about what is niche, what is ecological niche, and all these things will be explained in that video. So what is a habitat? Habitat is a place where an organism or group of organisms or community of organisms that lives. Say for example, this is a habitat where you can find different animals. So you can see here a rabbit and deers, birds, plants, lions, crocodiles, all these are living in a particular habitat. We can say that. Again, let's talk about few things before we get into habitat. So we have biosphere. So the entire planet Earth that contains all living things, that includes humans too. Okay. So all collectively what we call it as biosphere. And we have bio. So this is the second largest thing, a geographical area that has living things, the community of living things that exhibit same characteristic according to the environmental conditions they live. And we have ecosystem in simple, in a habitat or in a place, the biotic things, the biotic community that includes all living things that interact with non-living things to survive and function as an ecosystem. And then we learned what is a population, a particular kind of an animal or a plant, and its total number at a given time in a specific area, we can say it population. Community mean a group of animals, a group of plants, a group of organisms that live in a particular habitat, we can say that community, right? So this entire area we can call that as a habitat. So you can see this water is a habitat for the crocodile. Likewise, lion has a particular geographical range. Within that geographical range it will hunt and it will live, right? So that geographical range, like the distance where it travels and hunt and the entire life cycle that actually ends within that particular range is known as geographical range of a species. So this is what in simple we can say habitat and geographical range of a species. So as I told you, habitat refers to the place where an organism or a community of organisms live, and in that place you can find biotic community, which means all living things that interact with all non-living things, abiotic factors like sun, water, soil, all these things, right? So and the conditions of the surrounding environment, so this is what we call habitat. And I told you what is geographical range. So there are many species. If you take a plant, it has only a particular place because it doesn't move. Since it is an animal, it inhabit in a particular habitat. It doesn't move. It just simply be there. But in the case of animals, there are many animals, they migrate. So they move in their lifetime. They migrate to get its food, to reproduce, as well as to explore its habitat. Mostly all the animals will be migrating, which means they'll be traveling in a particular distance or a particular range in a particular habitat. That is what we call a species range, or else you can say geographical range of a species. So these animals and many animals, they migrate in their lifetime because they have to find food and they have to find shelter. Sometimes they even have to find hibernation. So if you take bear and all, bear and bats, all these animals, they hibernate during winter season. So they travel to a particular distance and go on hibernate. So with the time, the lifetime that it spent in particular distance or a geographical range, what we call geographical range. So during during this time we can see a lot of food chain and food webs are being created as they travel and migrate. You can see sometimes this deers or buffalo, they'll be crossing this river. You must have observed in Discovery and another channel. So so that range, we know what is geographical range, right? So while traveling it will be crossing the river. That is while crossing the river, the crocodile will be hunting the deers and buffalo. So this is how a food chain and food web is created during the geographical range of a species. Even normally also food chain and food web will also be there. So you can see, I hope you all know the difference between what is a food chain and what is a food web. So if you still don't know, you should go and watch the video which I already posted regarding this food chain and food web. So let us get to know more about habitat. So habitat, again, it's a place where organisms and animals live, isn't it? So in this video, we are going to see two habitat. One habitat is from desert and another from aquatic habitat. And how, with one example, with few examples, say for example in desert xerophytic habitat, we are going to see the adaptations of camels. In aquatic habitat, we'll be seeing a different adaptations that is being developed by animals. Okay, so we'll start with this desert habitat. So xerophyte means, which means extreme water scarcity condition is known as xerophytic. So the camels have excellent water management system. So you must have read it in your lower class or from the news that within 3 minutes they can drink 200 liters of water, and that water will be stored in this pot for a very long time without even losing it, because it doesn't urinate often, because it release urine, or it excrete urine only a few times, and also it's very concentrated to avoid water loss. And also they can withstand dehydration up to 25% of its body weight, because they are able to store water for a very long time. And another important feature of this camels, you can see they have a hump and hoof that store lot of fats, which help them to stay hunger for a long time, because this will metabolize and provide energy for the very long journey that they make in the desert. And also they have very long muscular legs for walking and wide padded feet, which allows them to walk on the rocks at the same time on the hot sand. And also another peculiar and interesting adaptation of this camels is they have long eyelashes and slit nostrils. What does nostrils means? It actually like a flap. It can close it can like how eyelash closes, right? Likewise this slit nostrils also have flaps, so that actually closes whenever a heavy sand blows, so that it can protect itself from the blowing sand. And so these are the extreme adaptations that they have adapted to survive in the xerophytic habitat. So let us see about aquatic habitat. So if you take aquatic habitat, we have two aquatic system. We have marine water and freshwater aquatic system. So in land we have gravity, we are able to stand and walk and do. But when you think about aquatic environment, most of the animal stays on the surface. If you take surface feeder, the surface fish always stays on the surface. They don't go bottom, or they don't come out, or this go for they just don't go and sleep in anywhere else, right? So they have this excellent adaptations which is known as homeostasis, which is possible because of all these fins that they have developed. So they have this dorsal fin, pectoral fin, caudal fin, which helps them to maintain this homeostasis. And also, if you talk about osmotic balance, you can see that you already know that there are three different types of category in osmosis, right? So if our blood cell, if it is surrounded with too much of water, then it will absorb a lot of water, then the blood cell will burst. So when it comes to freshwater fishes, it is completely surrounded with fresh water. It needs more water than it requires actually for its survival. So it doesn't drink water. Instead, the water will be diffused through its body. So because since it is surrounded by the water, and at the same time it will release lot of water through urination. So its water, it's completely diluted with water, the water that diffuse through its skin. And also during this process it loses lot of ions that is very important for its survival. So to balance that, with the help of gills, it will get all the ions that is required for its survival. So it is quite opposite when you take a marine environment, right? So marine water, it has very less fresh water when compared to our blood cells. So blood cells has more water, and the outer surrounding environment has less water, which means it is highly concentrated with salts. So what happens? You know the process of osmosis, right? Obviously, the water will move towards the lower concentration from the higher concentration. So there is a high chance and probability that it will lose most of its water content from its body. So to avoid that, they drink lot of seawater, and from the seawater, with the help of gills, lot of adaptations, they are able to filter the fresh water, and that fresh water will be stored in its body. And like camel, these fishes also release or excrete concentrated urine to avoid water loss. So this is how this two aquatic fishes, freshwater as well as marine water fishes, have adapted as well as able to live without even damaging its body cells, right? And also, let's see about its adaptations a little further. So you can see different type of fishes have different kinds of shapes and different kinds of fins. So you can see this dorsal fin and caudal fin. So this dorsal fin is actually used for the movement and speed, and this caudal fin is used to direct to turn its body to different direction. And also this pectoral fin, this is known as pelvic fin, and this is known as pectoral fin, and this is known as anal fin. So each fin has its different purpose and function to make the fish to maintain its homeostasis. And one more important thing about the fish is that almost all fishes have this swim bladder, otherwise known as air sacs, which is filled with air that actually helps them to maintain its buoyancy, flotation. Okay, so this is how these animals are able to survive, and these are the adaptations that they have developed over time to survive in this different habitat. So I hope you all understood about the different type of habitat and how animals have adapted to survive in it. So in our next video, let's see what is niche and what is ecological niche and species niche. I hope you guys have understood. If you still have any doubt, you can contact me. Take care, guys.